Insurance fraud impacts countless people across the state, and our sponsors at New York Alliance Against Insurance Fraud are using their Insurance Fraud is Like a Tax campaign to spread information on how you can recognize and prevent it from impacting you. Take a look at my conversation with them. Welcome to Daytime Buffalo, Frank Stuck of New York Alliance Against Insurance Fraud. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good afternoon, Chelsea. How are you?
Great. I want you to start off talking about what insurance fraud is.
I very simply put, insurance fraud is a deliberate deception perpetrated against by an insurance company or agent for the purpose of financial gain. Simply put, it's the abuse of the insurance system for financial gain.
Now, what is the theme of this year's campaign?
The theme this year is a little different take on what we've done over the last few years, and it's very simple. Insurance fraud is like a tax you can control. I mean, think about it. Taxes, we don't have any control over normal taxes, but we do have control over insurance fraud as a tax. And we'll get into that in a little bit as we get going.
Well, you know what? Insurance fraud can cost a lot of money, right? Do you want to talk about what those costs are?
Absolutely. First off, the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, which is in Washington, D.C., did a major research study in 2022 and put the overall cost of insurance fraud at $308.6 billion. That's billion with a B. Now, let's bring that down specifically to New Yorkers. And it costs every New Yorker, $921 per year in higher insurance premium and higher prices on everything you buy. And then if we look at, say, workers' comp insurance specifically, that costs every person $102. Now, that's not just insurance paying public. That's every person in the state of New York. Chelsea, every person, babies, seniors, everybody. So it's a very, very expensive problem.
Definitely. Do you want to talk about what types of insurance fraud there are so our viewers can be aware?
Sure, I'll touch on a few of them. First of all, from like contractor fraud, for instance, what happens is somebody may knock on your door after a storm, for instance, and say, "Hey, I see you have damage to your house. We can fix it for you. All you have to do is sign this contract. We'll deal with the insurance company. You got to pay us up front. Your insurance claim will take care of it later on." And next thing you know, these people disappear. So there's, one of the ways around that is don't ever answer unsolicited people coming to your door asking to do work for you. Some of the other things that we see are in the automobile realm, staged automobile accidents. This is still happening, Chelsea. People will set you up on the road, cause an accident, so that they can then come after your insurance company. And this is out and out insurance fraud. If somebody cuts you off and you're tailgating the person in front of you, you're going to hit them, when in reality, it could be a staged accident. Some of the other things we see is high-level medical fraud. But there are a lot of people looking to game the system. All right, for instance, what you can do whenever you go to a doctor, read your explanation of benefits, read that EOB, see if the treatment that you got, all right, or you're being billed for is what you received. All right. Were you there? Were you there for an hour? Did you get 5, 6 different types of treatment while you're there? So, these unscrupulous doctors are going to try to go after the insurance system. And unfortunately, us as New Yorkers are unwitting victims of that.
That's right, Frank, because insurance fraud isn't just stealing from insurance companies, right? It's also stealing from average New Yorkers.
Well, that's the key. I mean, think about this. And people look at it and say, "Oh, it's just an insurance company. Who's going to miss that?" I mean, one of the problems that we see in fraud is that quote honest person who's committing fraud, because they don't see what they're doing as a criminal act, and they say it's only an insurance company. But who pays for for insurance. We all do. And
Mhm.
that's how insurance companies do their business. So that in reality, you may think somebody may think they're going after the insurance company, but they're really stealing from everybody, which is why our tagline is insurance fraud is the crime you pay for. And it really is like a tax, Chelsea. And it's a tax you can avoid. And by saying something, it's like the old adage, if you see something, say something.
Mhm.
If you see somebody, if you look at your EOB and it doesn't seem right, call your insurance company. If you have a contractor who's now walked away from your job, call the police. You can also call the Alliance. You can go online at fraudny.com, which is our website. You can report fraud to us. You can go on 844 fraud NY and report it. And we'll get that information to the right people who will take a look at it. Because the bottom line is, if you're a professional, if you're a person who's looking to commit fraud in the state of New York, New York has one of the most active insurance fraud bureaus in the country. And if you're committing fraud, you are going to get caught and you are going to be prosecuted.
Yes, Frank, can you talk about the morality, meaning what is the impact this insurance fraud is having on the victims?
Well, right off the bat, insurance fraud is going to cause higher premiums. I mean, I think everybody's seeing their premiums go up. All right, insurance fraud is one of the reasons why premiums increase, and it also causes higher prices on everything. All right, because businesses have to have insurance. If their insurance goes up, who are they going to pass that off to? They're going to pass it off to the consumer. And it also causes emotional stress. People really are, as their insurance premiums increase, now they've got to cut back on something else to continue to be insured, or they don't buy insurance. And the next thing you know, we have uninsured people walking around, especially in automobile, Chelsea. I mean,
Mhm.
there are a lot of people that unfortunately are driving around without automobile insurance. And one of the drivers of that could very well be the cost of insurance.
Frank, I think we want to talk about the solution now. How do we stop insurance fraud?
Okay. As I said before, if you see something, say something. Be as knowledgeable as you can. Okay. Do things like when you're driving, be aware of your surroundings. If you're when you're treated by a provider, all right, read your EOB. Make sure that your company's being billed for the treatment that you received. If you're getting prescriptions, all right, how many people when they get home open the pill bottle and count the pills to make sure that they got what the doctor prescribed to them? If you didn't, the first thing you should do is call your insurance company.
Frank, you've given us a lot of great information. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate it.
If you think you or someone you know is struggling with insurance fraud, you can visit our sponsors for advice and information at fraudny.com.